had to leave from his home. He had to flee away from his angry brother. What did he do to his brother Esau, his twin brother? He kind of stole his birthright, the first son's right. And Esau, when he came back from his hunting, when he became very weary, at that time he was cooking stew. Perhaps the stew was great and very tasty, just like our son's ladies' night dinner. And Esau was anxious to have some of it, but Jacob didn't lose that opportunity, and he sold stew in exchange for Esau's right. So I can give you some food, but you need to give your first son's birthright. And later Jacob, he very craftily planned out, and he took away the blessing which was supposed to be given to his brother Esau. And he was blessed by Isaac, his father, which was supposed to be given to his brother Esau. So can you imagine when Esau found out all these things? He couldn't be calmed down. He became very upset. He became indignant, and he openly said, I will do something. I will do harm to my brother because I just cannot put up with that anymore. So when Rebekah, the twins' mother, heard about this, she arranged for Jacob to be sent away from Beersheba, their home, to Haran, where Haran was Rebekah's home. But Haran was very far away. And can you imagine that young Jacob had to take that long journey by himself? So this was happening during his journey. We're going to read chapter 28, verse 10. Now Jacob went up from Beersheba and went toward Haran. So he came to a certain place and stayed there all night. Because the sun had set, and he took one of the stones of the place and put it at his head, and he lay down in the place to sleep. Then he dreamed, and behold, a ladder was set up on the earth, and its top reached toward heaven. And there the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord of God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give you to you and your descendants. Also your descendants shall be as the dust of the earth. You shall spread abroad to the west and the east, to the north and the south. And in you and in your seed all the families of the earth shall be blessed. Behold, I am with you, and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have to you. Then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid and said, How awesome in this place! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. Then Jacob rose early in the morning, took the stone that he had put at his head, set it up as a pillar, and poured oil on the top of it. And he called the name of the place Bethel. But the name of the city had been Luz previously. So Jacob, to save his life, he had to run away. And Beersheba was located a pretty southern part. Can you see blue dot here? Beersheba, that's why I used the blue. And Haran was far away to the north. And Nineveh, the city we talked about last Sunday, is nearby here. So very far away. It's about 400 miles away. And Jacob, he was very young, and he was unsure, uncertain. He was not safe, and he was worried about his future, whether if he could be fed, he could be accepted by his uncle's family, or he could come back safely later after this journey. He worried and concerned. And he placed pretty high hills, and he stayed there overnight. So he walked by day, and at night he came to sleep under stars and moon. So 400 miles. It's about from here, Etobicoke, to a certain place between Montreal and Quebec City. So that's a lot. And a healthy young person can walk daily, maybe maximum 50 miles. So if we calculate, could be more than 30 days and 40 days he had to spend on the road. And he came to a place which was called Luz at the time, but he changed the name later into Bethel. And beautiful vision, beautiful dream came to him, and he saw in his dream the ladder. And this happened. He saw the angels in his dream, and they were going up, they were ascending, and after that, they were coming down, they were descending. And the ladder was set up between the earth and the heaven. It was set up on the earth, and its top reached toward heaven. And on the top of it, the Lord was there. He was appearing on the top of that ladder. And the Lord said to Jacob in his dream, I will be with you wherever you go, and the land you lie tonight, I will give you and your descendants, and I will bring you back to this land safely. So that's the words exactly Jacob needed regarding his future journey. Everything was uncertain and not sure and safe. So, this is what Jacob needed on his journey, and he was assured, now I know that my God will be with me. So when he woke up in the morning, he put the stone he used for his pillow, and then he poured oil on it, and he erected it, and he worshiped the Lord, and he called that place Bethel, house of God. So when we think of this young man's journey, everything was uncertain. And when he came to that vision, he was assured. He felt safe now. And our life on earth is like the journey we live in Beersheba, where we have a home, everything is comfortable, everything we are familiar with. And we need to leave from Beersheba to Haran, foreign land, unknown world. So this is sort of a life we experience, and sometimes we charged with too many things, and we have to take new tasks. You have to go to maybe new classroom and later hire new school. And perhaps you need to get a job later, and you need to be exposed to so many new and unsure things. And on this journey, we need some confirmation and comfort and peace from the Lord, because his life completely changed, Jacob, when he met the Lord in his dream and in his words. And we need a moment. And how can we go into the state? Think about Jacob. First of all, he lied down. The word of the Lord carefully chose lying down instead of a sleep, because in many places a sleep has a little bad connotation, bad meaning, like a darkness and obscurity. So this time Jacob was lying down, which means he entered into a state of tranquility and peace, removed from all worldly concerns and worries about the future, uncertainty, and he felt safe. And then he saw this wonderful dream. Angels were ascending first and then descending. Isn't that a little strange? Because we think angels are in heaven. They're supposed to be descending first, and then they could go up. That sounds like the right order. But what Jacob saw in his dream was the opposite. Angels were ascending and later descending. Because we need to go up to the Lord, and we need to experience the Lord first. And then we need to bring that inspiration. We need to bring that special peace and comfort we experience in the presence of the Lord. And we need to bring all that feelings and emotions and understandings to our daily life. So we need to go up first to be exposed to that celestial, heavenly atmosphere. And then we need to bring all that feelings and emotions and understanding. We need to bring it to the Lord, bring it down to the earth in our daily life. And this ladder that was set up on the earth, and the top of that ladder reached toward heaven. And what guides us to the Lord? What takes us to the Lord? It is the teachings of the Word, divine truth. Only divine truth can take us to the Lord. It's only a reliable signpost given to us. So the ladder means pathway and way to the Lord. And it comes from Hebrew verb sadar, which means lift up. So we need to be lifted up by the Lord's truth, and we can come near to the Lord. And the Lord can give us what we exactly need at the time. And we will be comforted. We feel like refreshed, and we are recharged. When we are young, all those stories, we're just fascinated by how that appears. So when the Lord gave Moses the 10 Commandments, there was a thunderings and lightnings, and the whole mountain was in smoke. So we are fascinated. Wow, nice. And when we read about those stories in the book of Judges, like Samson and Gideon, how they defeated their enemies. And we are fascinated by those things. But later when we step up a little bit, we can get to the lessons there. We go into more, the Lord wants to give us in a solemn way the teachings we need to stick to, we need to abide by. That's a step up. And when we step up further, perhaps we will enter into internal meanings and we will be fascinated. We will love it. But we cannot jump to the top. Slowly, step up. We can go into deeper meanings, wonderful teachings, divine truth. It sounds very paradoxical and contrary, but we have two kinds of different journey. We need to leave Beersheba, our home, and we need to go to the world, Haran, unknown and Gentile land. And during that journey, we need to experience the Lord's presence. Is it possible? Because we go into more hectic world, we will experience all kinds of unhappy things. But how come we can experience, we can sense His close presence there? Think about Jacob, what he did. He was lying down. In other words, he was uplifted. He was removed from all worldly concerns and worries and terrible things. So he entered a state of tranquility, peace, and serenity. And then he could meet the Lord. He saw the ladder right there, and he saw angels ascending and descending. So he could hear the clear message from the Lord. And we need that. In our life in the world, we are exposed to many terrible things, unhappy things, and very sorrowful things. And we need the Lord's comfort. We need the Lord's assurance. This is the right thing to do. We need to keep going. And the Lord will be with us. He will bring us back to our eternal heaven. We need to step up to see the Lord. Because we are all born with the capacity to go up intellectually. But the problem is, when our loves and will do not accompany, do not go up together with our understanding, our higher understanding and the experience of that heavenly spirit will be very short. Because our whole condition and our state will be brought back to where our loves are, our affections reside. Because in our personal life, our will and our love is the boss. It's a more essential thing. So how can we taste that the Lord is good? How can we stay there longer? We need to refrain from our evils as sins. We need to do charitable things for other people. We need to do more useful services for our neighbors. Then our loves and our affections can be elevated. And at the same time, our understanding, our intellectual capacity will be exalted by means of this step. Do you think it's possible? It sounds a little contrary. We need to go out, but at the same time, we need to experience His close presence. But it's possible because the Lord has given that capacity. And when we refrain from evil things, when we become more charitable and more regenerate, we can taste and see that the Lord is good. So may I invite young children to try this ladder, stepping up? Any willing children? Evelyn, Luke, you want to try? Viola, you want to try? You want to go up? Let's do that. We need to step up every day and come soon, and we can use that. Thank you. Any young senior members? We got to do this, perhaps every day. Find quiet time, and we can experience the Lord, and then we bring back all that energy and freshness to our next morning, our worldly experiences. So, we need to go up to the mountain of the Lord. Amen.